because there are bigger companies ready to pay for them. So that ecosystem doesn't exist in India yet in a that strong way. There have been very few handful acquisitions that you can talk about in India, and the reason for that is also because there are not many technology-backed companies who have a real substance or an IP that they have developed to be acquired. Yes.
Hi sir, I have two questions for you. First is, as we see a general trend, IT and electronics is a very vast field. We have many opportunities for entrepreneurs to explore that. And we see that in industry, most of the IT engineers, after their 2 or 3 years of experience, they have this urge to start something of their own. But seldom do we see that those are successful. So can you just tell how you did a research on it, some entrepreneurs skills which are lagging in there? How could we, bridge that technical and that gap? The second question is like, as we saw the advertisement through the TouchWiz surface, which would replace the conventional, or which will complement the conventional advertisements like hoardings, online, television commercials. Like the reach of the advertisements would, the customer would feel more delivered, the value would be delivered more. So how would it bridge, or what is the real a company, how would it get a real advantage of your technology?
Sure. So to answer your first question,
Yes.
So sorry, what was that about? Again, I
So it was about the IT industry people coming into.
yes, yes, yes. So I mean, yes. See, like life does have failures. In fact, even after the companies come to a stage of VC funding and they get funded, in VC circuit itself, a 1/10 success rate is there. Okay, so all the stories we hear are about that one company. Okay, you never hear about the 9 that failed. So, so another thing that I learned in US was that failures are glorified out there. Like if you have failed couple of times or even one time, the VC would be more willing to put in money into you. Whereas here, that culture is not there. If you have failed, people would think you are fraud. So that culture has to be created in order to accept that, oh, this guy has actually learned certain things out of what he has done in the past, and it was a logical decision to actually shut down the company. I mean, here if somebody starts a company and shuts it down, you have never heard anybody about shutting down companies. I mean, very seldom do you hear actually people shutting down companies. So you have to get over that fear of, what if I fail? And a lot of people, like in this contemplation, actually don't either go for it or they treat themselves as a failure even before they get into it. So you have to. It's not that easy, but it is not that hard as well. You have to work towards it. You have to be very clear in your thoughts in order to achieve what you're trying to do. And all the things that I said, like if you have those things in place, you would end up building up a successful enterprise. And coming to your second question, that was about how the technology is being used. So, like last month actually, we just published a report where we have touched more than 6 million people's lives across the world today with this technology. So, we are not into online mediums at all. We are an offline technology company. So, we run interactive advertisements in public spaces like malls, airports, for events, like in in conventions, in gaming centers, schools, and the whole other places that I talked about. So this advertising won't replace the conventional advertising like television and internet advertising, but it is actually substituting the offline advertising, which is the outdoor advertising, and that is just one vertical for us. So the research like that we did actually taught us that this media was capturing close to 20x higher recall than a conventional hoarding put. So we put this interactive floor in a mall, and we had a same ad running on hoarding after a few days, and we checked the results, on what was the brand recall of people who actually interacted with the system versus who saw the hoarding, and we saw that there was a 20x higher brand recall to this medium. So whenever people are interacting with certain things, the probability that they would recall is much higher. So I mean, we are into that kind of a space when it comes to advertising, and we are into this whole other different bunch of verticals. I mean, where we are installing these systems in museums, in experience centers for corporates, so which are not for advertising applications. They are for branding and information applications.
Thank you.
Yes.
My question is about while running a product-based company, how to balance between running the existing business and at the same time developing new product. I mean, considering we have a very small team, how
you say running a business, you're saying a services business.
Product business.
Okay, so you're running a product business and you want to create a new product.
Yes. Or improve on that.
Right. So for this, I mean, there is a very simple mechanism that is there, which is called like forking small projects. So Twitter was one idea that was actually born out of a fork project. So inside the company, this guy had an idea that I should have a small, like like widget that I can just type in a fixed amount of words into, which everybody can see or everybody who is subscribing to my feed can see. And he actually created that project as a side project, which became a full-fledged company in future. So even in our company, we do smaller projects, like which are like prototyping, instant prototyping kind of projects, where we prototype them and we validate them in the market. So we talk to people and see like would they buy it, how much would they be ready to pay for it, and based on that we decide whether we would put a full-fledged effort in developing it. And prioritizing is a very hard thing because like even when you're building a product, what features would come first, what would come later on, like all of these things, there some of them are just throwing an arrow in the dark, and some of them are based out of some feedbacks. So you have to learn to balance these things when it comes to like building more products as being already a product. But it's very important to be sure on what you're focusing on, because if you end up having too many things on the plate, you'll end up creating a mess. So be focused. Like so there is a time in a product company that you come across where people are asking whether you can do this, and like earlier like when you start the company you say हाँ सब कुछ कर सकते हैं, but you come to a point where you say that no, this is my line, like I don't do these kind of things. Like in our case, when so initially like people used to come and say you are doing touch-based applications or touch-based software, why don't you develop iPad applications for us? Okay, these are the same set of customers who are coming to us and asking us for this kind of things, and we did that also. So we did iPad application development also at that point in time, because our name said touch, people saw touch, they came to us and they thought iPad is also a touch screen application. They said okay, you make it for big screen, make it for a small screen for us. But now we have a very simple policy, we say no to these projects because there are 1,000 other people who are doing the same thing at fraction of the cost. And like even though we have the skill set to do that, we won't do it. So you come to that fine point, where you start saying no to certain things. So and that is you should be very clear on the idea of what you are trying to achieve. Yes.
Sir, I would like to know what do you think is lacking in the Indian educational system, because this culture of innovation, like you said, at the age of 7, you had this more than 1,000 origami arts, and like in Indian education, we don't really have this culture to innovate things. Also, you said 14-year-old when you got the letter from Bill Gates, and at a very early age, you were able to achieve a lot more than your colleagues might have at that age. So, do you think it gets lonely at the top? And what next? Because you're handling a business, do you think your innovation gets hampered because you're supposed to handle both sides of the same business?
So I think there are two questions. One is that like what is lacking in the education system, and the second question is that how do you manage both sides of the business, or how do you balance basically between what you love to do and what you are doing. So to answer your first question, which is about I'll answer the second one first actually. So see, like you have to find that balance in certain things. I still love to play guitar, I still love to do the art forms that I have been practicing. They may not be helping me in my daily lives, but you have to learn to balance them out. In fact, in some projects, it happened that because I had learned music before, it helped me in executing and getting that project because I could understand the customer requirement better. Okay, so I do keep on learning new things. Like about a couple of years ago, I started learning classical singing just out of a hobby. So these are like side things, which you keep on doing as part of your personal life. There is family to take care of, there is personal things to take care of, but you have to find that balance, between what is your passion and what is your work or what will actually bring you the money. Coming to your earlier question, and what is lacking in the education system, I feel nothing is lacking in the education system. I feel it's the attitude.